Jim, we see the protests, the arrests, the fear that's going on in Iran today, but the Iran of 31 years ago in many ways is providing the stage for all of what's going on today. You were in Iran working around that whole period. Take us back and paint a picture for us of what it was like back then.
Well, Michael, it was it was a build-up to that day. We were watching a situation that unfolded starting in the fall of 1978 and went on into 1979. And I can remember very well spending Christmas and New Year's in Tehran, wondering exactly where it was all leading to, because day by day there was more deterioration in the situation. The Shah left the country by the middle of January, and things started to deteriorate further. And then Khomeini came back on the 1st of February. Now, I had been in Paris. I was working in Paris, covering Khomeini in Paris, but also going to Tehran. So I was seeing both sides of the story. And he was here in asylum here in Paris. And the day before I was in Paris, they said you should get back there before he gets back, because you should be on the streets and see what kind of reception he gets. Well, it was unbelievable. I got back to Tehran the day before, and on the day when he arrived, there was just mobs in the street. This is the 1st of February, just mobs in the street, and we really knew at that point that things had not been going the Shah's way at all. And the situation deteriorated from there, day by day.
Yeah, and as a journalist, I mean, you were working for NBC then. We weren't even around. As a journalist and as a person on the streets, I mean, you must have had a real sense of the seismic nature of what was happening around you on a personal level.
Well, I'd never been in anything like that before, and I had never seen that kind of situation developing, and we really had no idea day by day where it was all going to lead to, and it was completely chaotic. And one thing I should say is that, especially in the day or two and weeks afterwards, there was a lot of chaos in terms of who was really in charge. Because while there was the religious faction that supported Khomeini, there were also very secular factions who had gotten involved with the revolution because they felt that when the Shah was gone and there was this power vacuum, they could take over. That in the end didn't take place. But in any case, we just didn't know which direction it was going. And as a journalist, we were trying to keep on top of the situation. It was really a pretty amazing time. I've been through some similar situations since then. I realized that one of the first things that you got to watch is the TV station. Who controls the TV station? Because they have the mouthpiece in their hands, and they can say they're in charge even if they're not.
Yeah, I remember that in a couple of revolutions too. Now, I was reading today, Iran, according to Reporters Without Borders, Iran has more journalists in prison at the moment than any country in the world. Now, I'm curious, back then, 30 years ago, were there particular challenges in doing your job as a reporter, a Westerner amongst the very Islamic revolution?
Well, we didn't have much problem as Westerners, and I think one of the things is that we weren't part of this, the new internet era, and as a consequence, people really didn't know what we were reporting. I mean, we could go out in the streets, and they really didn't have an idea whose side we were on or what we were saying or whatever. The local media, however, had a great deal of problems, and after the revolution, a number of the journalists in the local media just fled because they had been working for news outfits that had been basically controlled by the Shah, and they just felt it was better to get out of the country, and a lot of them did.
I got to ask you quickly, though, Jim, you were there with your now wife, Pat, Romance and Revolution.
Yeah, she was the producer. I mean, she's the director of the Paris bureau here in Paris right now. But she was my producer at the time, and we didn't have a real strong romance going. We were dating a little bit, But boy, those wars and revolutions, all that passion flowing, you just don't know what's going to happen.
That is the backstory. Jim Bittermann, really appreciate it. Great to see you, my friend.
You bet.